The Horizon was a ship built for exploration, not war. Its mission had been simple: to chart the distant star systems beyond the Milky Way and to make peaceful contact with alien civilizations. The crew was composed of scientists, engineers, and a small security team. No one aboard had ever fired a weapon in anger. Until now. Captain Amelia Drake stood on the bridge, her heart pounding as the alarms screamed in the background. The vast emptiness of space, normally so peaceful, had become a battlefield. The alien fleet, an armada of gleaming, organic-looking ships, was closing in fast, their weapons charged and aimed at Horizon. They were the Exilwrath, a warrior species who saw Earth's expansion into their territory as an act of aggression. For them, peace was irrelevant. Conquest was the only language they understood. Shields at 30%, Commander Jacobs reported, his voice strained. Sweat trickled down his forehead as he frantically worked the controls, trying to divert more power to the failing shield systems. "We can't hold out much longer, Captain," Lieutenant Kira added from her tactical station, eyes darting between screens filled with data on the Exilwrath fleet. "Their firepower is overwhelming. We need to retreat." Captain Drake knew that retreat wasn't an option. The Horizon was too slow, too damaged. They had nowhere to run, no reinforcements to call. They were the only ship within light years of this sector. If they fell, Earth wouldn't even know the Exilwrath were coming until it was too late. Drake took a deep breath and glanced around at her crew. They were scared, but none of them had given up. They trusted her. She had to come up with something, anything. "We're not running," Drake said, her voice steady despite the chaos. "We may not be a warship, but we're not going down without a fight." Her words sent a ripple of determination through the bridge. The Horizon crew had faced the unknown before, but this time it was different. This was survival. Drake turned to Kira. "Load whatever torpedoes we have left. Aim for their largest ships. We need to slow them down." "Yes, Captain!" Kira's hands flew over the controls, and a moment later, the ship shuddered as torpedoes launched from their tubes, streaking toward the Exilwrath fleet. Seconds later, explosions lit up the view screen. Several Exilwrath vessels were hit, but none were destroyed. They just kept coming. The ship lurched violently as another barrage slammed into the Horizon's shields. Sparks flew from the control panels and the lights flickered. "Shields down to 10%. Hull breach in Sector 4. Jacobs called out. "We can't take another hit like that." Drake gripped the edge of her command console, her mind racing. They had to do something drastic, something the Exilwrath wouldn't expect. "Jacobs," she said, turning to her first officer, "what's our status on the experimental FTL drive?" Jacobs looked at her in surprise. "The FTL? It's not ready. The last simulation showed it's too unstable. We could end up anywhere if we don't tear ourselves apart first." Drake nodded. "I know, but it's our only shot. If we don't try, we're dead anyway. And if we can make it work, we might just surprise them." Jacobs hesitated, then nodded grimly. "I'll get it online." As Jacobs worked to bring the FTL drive to full power, Drake addressed the crew over the intercom. "This is Captain Drake. We're in a fight we can't win by normal means. But we're not giving up. We're activating the experimental FTL drive. I don't know where it'll take us, but if this works, we'll live to fight another day. Horizon has always been about pushing the boundaries of the possible, and that's what we're going to do now. Brace yourselves. This is going to be rough." The ship's engines began to hum, a low vibration building throughout the deck. The FTL drive wasn't like any conventional faster-than-light system. It worked by bending the very fabric of space and time, creating a temporary wormhole to anywhere in the galaxy or beyond. In theory. In practice, it was about to be tested under the worst possible conditions. "FTL drive at 70%, Jacobs reported. "We're almost there." The Exilwrath ships continued their relentless assault, closing in for the kill. The Horizon shook violently under the barrage, hull plating giving way, but the crew held on. FTL drive at 90%, Jacob said, his voice tight with tension. Just a little more. Suddenly, the view screen flared white, and an enormous Exilwrath dreadnought appeared at the front of the fleet. It was massive, its dark hull bristling with weapons. It fired a single, devastating blast. The ship lurched again, and alarms blared as red warning lights flashed across every console. Horizon was breaking apart. Now, Jacobs, Drake shouted. FTL drive at 100%. Engaging. For a moment, time seemed to stretch, the stars warping and twisting around them. Then, with a deafening roar, the Horizon shot forward, leaving the Exilwrath fleet behind in a blaze of energy. The ship hurtled through the unknown, tumbling through the wormhole at impossible speeds. The crew held on for dear life as the ship's structural integrity was pushed to its limit. Just as it seemed they might be torn apart, the Horizon emerged from the other side of the wormhole. The ship shuddered, groaned, but held together. Drake exhaled, glancing at the view screen. The stars were different. They were alive. They had made it. Where are we? Kira asked, her voice filled with awe. Jacob stared at the navigational readout in disbelief. We're on the other side of the galaxy. Almost 50,000 light-years from where we were. Drake allowed herself a small smile. They had survived. They had escaped. But they weren't safe yet. Status report, she said. Shields are gone, Kira replied. We're limping, but we're alive. Drake stood tall, the weight of the fight still pressing on her shoulders, but a new resolve building within her. The Horizon was battered, but it wasn't beaten. They were outgunned, outmatched, but not out of hope. They would regroup, find allies, and warn Earth of the Exilwrath. And when the time came, they would fight back. Set course for the nearest star system, Drake ordered. We'll repair, we'll recover, and then we'll make sure the Exilwrath know just what humanity is capable of. As the Horizon drifted silently through space, the crew began to repair their ship, patching up the damage and preparing for the next step in their journey. They weren't explorers anymore. They were survivors, and soon they would be warriors. Humanity would not go quietly into the night.